Welcome back. Now, the majority of employers invested in training their staff last year despite a tight labour market. The Ministry of Manpower does a survey on employer-supported training every 2 years. And so, for 2012, about 7 in 10 private establishments gave their employees training, and this was unchanged from 2010. Employers most likely to give training are from financial and insurance services and construction, those least likely are from the wholesale and retail trade sectors. When it comes to PMETs or professionals, managers, executives and technicians, fewer of them went for training last year. You can see the decline from 2012 to 2010, and similar scene for sales and services workers as well. But for those who got more training last year were in production and transport and cleaners and labourers. In 2012, 58% went for training. 2010, it was 56.2%. So to talk about these numbers, I have with me in studio Mark Hall. He's from recruitment agency Kelly Services Singapore. So Mark, thank you very much for coming in today. So we saw the figures earlier. 2 years on, private companies still investing in their workers, still investing in training, sure, but the numbers have stayed constant at 70%. What's the reason for this?
I guess there's a number of reasons. The primary reason probably is that the global economic climate is still making some companies a bit cost conscious and cost constrained. So in that respect, the number of people going on training will probably be more selective. And so companies have to decide who they're going to send to training and how much training they're going to receive.
Okay, let's talk about the importance of training. Why is it important to invest in that for any company?
It's hugely important. I think the key characteristics are that there's a direct effect of training on the results of your business, be it in the quality that's provided, in the customer service that you can deliver, or indeed the productivity that you can get from your employees. I think the single most important factor in today is the engagement you can get from your workforce. It's that psychological contract that you invest in me, I'm going to give more for you. Right. And I think many companies overlook that item, and it's something that, you know, all companies in Singapore should bear in mind.
So what would you say is a bit easier for bigger companies to invest in training because they probably already have structured programs in place, you know, they've apportioned money for that. But for smaller companies, you know, how would they work around that? Should they pool resources?
Sure, there's a challenge because if you're in a smaller organization, it's a bit tough because how do you compensate for that worker that's missing in the workforce today? You know, I think for larger companies, yes, you've got a larger workforce, you can pool training for the core training. So there is an argument for some of the smaller workers, you know, how do I get compensated from a productivity perspective with the government focusing so much on productivity to release my workers to attend training? But it's a cycle to break. If you don't send people for training, your workforce isn't going to get more productive. So it's a balance that organizations have to make.
Okay, one last question for you. What were perhaps the key reasons for the decline in the proportion of PMETs being set for training last year?
Sure, there's a number of reasons that can affect that. One, this is the more skilled workforce, so potentially it's the workforce which is driving a lot of the productivity in the organization, releasing them. In addition, I think, you know, many workforces are actually already quite lean, and to release some of the PMETs, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to those organizations.
All right, thank you very much, Mark, for coming in today. It's great speaking to you. And that was Mark on the value, of course, of investing in training for your staff, be it in a big company.